Having a little voice problem. That's good.
It's a sign of a good conference, actually.
We've got Ian Shaquille on the show with us today, opening up our first live stream of the day. Ian, so glad to have you on the
Yeah.
show.
Great to be here bright and early in Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Tell us a little bit about your company, who you're working for here
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, so I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of Commure and one of the founders here at Commure. We're really, leading edge AI platform company. We make software for providers. And the main thing we're known for is ambient AI.
All right.
That is the magical process where a clinician can have natural conversations with their patient, like we're having a natural conversation now, and they can simply trust that the technology is in the background, doing all their note taking and structuring and administrative tasks so they can focus on what matters most. As part of our suite, we also offer revenue cycle management powered by AI, a variety of front office agents and back office agents. If you put it all together, we're taking the drudgery and the administrative burdens away from clinicians so clinicians can do what they went to med school or nursing school to do, focus on patient care.
I love that. So I'm a nurse by background.
Yeah.
And so anything that we can do in order to tidy up and make that whole process more streamlined, I'm all about. So tell me a little bit more. Ambient and revenue cycle management. How does that all go together?
Yeah, I mean, historically they haven't.
Okay.
Most of the companies out here are what we call like point solutions.
Yeah.
There's more than 100 now ambient AI
Yes.
companies, and
Yeah.
I'm losing count of the number of RCM companies
Right.
and agent companies,
Right.
and you name it. So Commure thinks a little bit differently about this. We think that health systems and providers and CIOs are absolutely drowning
Yeah.
with this company for that solution, this little point solution,
Right.
that little point solution. So they would rather have a platform company that can operate a number of these on one single EHR integration,
Okay.
one contract, economics that makes sense,
Yeah.
not like stacking per user costs that go out the window.
Yeah.
So if you work with us, Commure, we can kind of offer a suite of these like interwoven solutions that just simply work on
Okay.
one integration. And on top of that, it actually makes sense that these products talk to each other. So yes, you may think of ambient AI as more clinically oriented, doing the note, better care. You may think of RCM as more like CFO oriented,
Right.
let's optimize coding and denial.
HIM, right.
But believe it or not, that if you can connect the rules engines, these things go together. So increasingly now your ambient app might be surfacing gentle nudges telling you of opportunities you forgot or defaulting the note in certain ways that are in service of RCM goals and vice versa.
Right.
So we're here to kind of link these products together and bring product synergy.
So when we talk about linking, we talk about inside the EHR.
Yeah, so
talk about that. Talk about that
we-
bridge and that feed.
we work with more than 40 different EHRs, the biggies like Epic and Cerner and
Right.
Meditech, as well as a number of the long tail EHRs. We've never found an EHR we couldn't work with. So we're like the integration specialists. So that's one of the reasons to work with us. And we're big believers in deep integration with the EHRs, with all of our solutions.
Yeah.
So nobody wants some sort of like bolt-on ribbon where you're like copying and pasting, you're like swivel chairing like outside of your Epic to go do this other thing.
Right.
So we're big believers in sort of seamlessness and ambient sort of workflows. You have a conversation, you look in your EHR, things land where they're supposed to, it's structured, you click confirm to sort of validate the way things are working the way you would like.
That is super. Okay, so then tell me if a health system wants to have Commure come in,
Yep.
what does that implementation look like?
Yeah. So for one, before we jump into implementation, we want to do a full like need finding
Okay.
and sort of financial review and just make sure that we're basically setting up you for success. We're meeting your metrics and what we set out to do, and that we're kind of measuring along the way.
Yeah.
As part of implementation, we want to make sure that we're setting expectations. The clinicians are prepared to train. There's some amount of buy-in.
Yeah.
Definitely as part of implementation, we often do a little bit of like a tranche one or a pilot experience where we kind of calibrate the service, make sure we get like diversity of users, the right number of nurses, the right number of clinicians, the right number of specialties and settings.
Yeah.
To kind of just make sure we kind of validate that everything works.
How long does the pilot last?
They're getting to be pretty quick and standardized these days. I think we prefer not to even use the word pilot.
Yeah.
We prefer to use the word like first deployment or tranche one.
Right.
And I can imagine, like, for example, an ambient AI pilot being typically 2 to 4 months.
Okay.
That you can kind of see really great steady state results
Yeah.
across the diversity of users you would expect. Usually from there, the CIO and the CFO are like, this is validated. We can press the green go button and start scaling.
Nice.
That's a lot faster than the pilot cycles you would have seen 2 years ago,
Sure.
4 years ago with frontier technology.
Right, right. So as you're looking at, you're giving roadmaps, designing roadmaps for
Yeah.
your clients. You're doing tranche one.
Yeah.
What pushes them over the edge? What is the metric that they need to see to say, hey, you know what? They're the ones. They
I mean,
beat all these other guys out.
I wish it was just one,
All right.
Yeah.
but usually it's just like a long litany of things, and there's what they say and what they really want, right?
Right.
And sometimes maybe they don't even know what they really want.
Right. I mean, okay, there's always these CFO metrics around, be it denials or certain RCM outcomes.
Right.
That just is sort of table stakes.
The hard
Right.
ROI.
And then clinicians and then the leadership will always kind of like set to the side
Uh-huh.
soft ROI,
Uh-huh.
clinician happiness, retention, satisfaction, and say that's not like the tipping factor. That's kind of a nice to have. But what we've always seen is it actually is the most huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if the clinicians are demanding it, utilizing it, they see their neighbor, they have it, and I want it, it
Yeah.
almost like supersedes
Right.
those hard financial metrics. So basically, you got to make the CFO metrics happen, but
Oh.
you've got to make the clinician satisfaction and
Yeah.
utilization metrics happen too.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't seem like a measured hard dollar metric,
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
It matters.
Right.
So, yeah.
Competition matters.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
I came from over there. They had it. Why would I come over here? If you're courting a doctor
Yeah.
or a suite of doctors to come over,
Exactly.
you gotta have tools that compete, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's
Yeah, we heard that on the stage yesterday.
Yes,
In
we
fact,
did.
they said it's a competitive advantage
Yeah,
for them
absolutely.
to be able to have access to ambient.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's right.
In the Bay Area, there's like 5 different major health systems, and it's even almost like a decision if I'm going to be a doctor and go work at like Sutter.
Yeah.
I just interviewed at Common Spirit. So what kind of ambient AI am I going to get here? Otherwise, I might consider
Right.
the other, right? So it's
Yeah.
actually part of the decision
Yeah.
making.
What do you guys have?
Very
Make sure it's in my contract.
Yeah.
Actually, this is happening.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Is there any service line that you've worked with that's particularly challenging or yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. We have this view that sort of the obstacle is the way, and now that ambient is so prolific and there's so many different vendors that offer it, our strategy is to kind of master where it's very hard.
Okay.
Hard being the ED setting,
Yes.
the hospitalist
Yeah.
setting,
Yeah.
other very complex surgical settings. A lot of companies are getting pretty good at simple episodic ambulatory care and ambient in those contexts, and we are great there too.
Yeah.
But where they fall apart is, say, for example, the ED. Just think about the ED for a second. You're in and out of a room like maybe multiple times
Right.
over multiple hours. There's
Yeah.
incredibly crazy acoustics. There's no schedule whatsoever.
Right.
You're basically, your user experience looks more like an ED chaotic tracker,
Yeah.
kind of clicking in and out of rooms, and the note needs to sort of regenerate.
Yeah.
So we've completely mastered that whole setting in the ED.
Wow.
And similarly, challenging settings like hospitalists and others. So we think health systems will come to choose their AI partners, not based on where it's easy, but based on where it's hard. And if we can win those hard areas, we get the rest. And so
Yeah.
That's fact.
Yes.
And that's really about a lot of engineering, any software, right? If you can solve the hard problems,
Exactly.
the dominoes just fall.
Exactly our strategy.
That is beautiful.
That's why, like HCA, for example, has chosen us.
Yes.
Right.
We're their enterprise-wide exclusive ambient AI contract, and they literally told us, like, the reason we are selecting you is because you're so bold to go where we know it's hard,
Yeah.
ED and hospital
Yeah.
scenarios like that.
That's beautiful.
I think that's awesome. And you said the obstacle is the way.
That's one of our values. Yeah.
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah. You might want to trademark that quick.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So what's on your roadmap for the rest of this year? What are you looking at? What are your other obstacles to tackle and
Yeah.
opportunities?
Yeah. Well, I've talked a lot about ambient AI, but I have not talked a lot about RCM.
Okay.
If you think about 2025, that was kind of the year of the explosion of AI scribe rate. I mean, literally every single
Right.
provider group had to pilot something, and the momentum is still going from that. But I think 2026 is the year where the CFO is going to start piloting and even deploying AI RCM solutions.
Okay.
There are AI RCM modules in the areas of denials and autonomous coding, and we're releasing more and more capabilities in different specialties and settings throughout this year to address that. And we're also releasing and scaling our end-to-end AI RCM platforms. This is really going to make a huge difference to the bottom line.
Every dollar matters.
Not just large health systems, but critical access systems and regional systems, which are just honestly struggling
Yeah.
to just keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And the CFOs know that, and they see AI as a pathway.
Yeah.
So you're going to see just more launches, more specialties, more settings for us to scale our offerings in this area. You're also going to see us releasing more and more different types of front office agents and back office agents that help with things like intake, things like scheduling, things like patient follow-up regarding RCM tasks. But what'll be very interesting when we do it is they won't be like sort of these disconnected products and features. They will all be EHR integrated in part of our RCM and ambient AI platform. So it'll be cohesive for the users.
Yeah.
Pieces and parts that come together.
Exactly.
Like, oh, they're the tinker toy of technology that are meant to be together. You just got to figure out which ones you need on which day.
Exactly. It's like a buffet. We can offer you all these different things, you know, whatever you're not quite getting from your EHR.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can augment them with some of our AI modules and kind of accelerate your roadmap as a health system. But you can also trust that it's all in workflow and EHR integrated.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, Ian, we thank you for joining us and imparting some insight on us on the show today.
Anytime. Glad to kick you off in the morning
I
here.
know, right?
I know.
Nice.
Feels good to start off with such a good guest that it's a direct impact.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So where can our guests find you on the show floor today?
Yeah, we are at booth 870.
870.
And you can also visit Camure.com and learn all about us.
All right.
Love it.
Pleasure.
Looking forward. We'll see you on the floor later.
Looking forward.
Always
Thank you
so
so much.
good.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're hearing from one of these wonderful voices what AI is doing, how
How's that?
it's transforming, again, more in healthcare. But Mira and thinkers, thought leaders like Ian are all over this show floor.
I know. I'm really impressed with the idea of integrating both the ambient listening with the RCM piece of it.
Right.
Because you know how important those dollars are. And my heart goes out to every health system that is facing some very difficult headwinds because of the financial situation that we're in.
Right.
It's not getting any better.
Right.
So whatever we can do in order to be more efficient or be more strategic about the dollars we collect, that's what matters.
Definitely a bonus. I think as we look forward to the rest of this day, I want to see more of that type of technology. So we're going to be signing off for right now, but we'll be back soon with another live cast here from HIMSS 2026 in Las Vegas. I'm Mike Mosquito, along with Maureen.
Nylene.
And we will chat with you soon. Keep buzzing.